I was at the rock bottom of my life. Through hell, through the pain, the agony. I knew it was gonna be tough, but I just had to get a little bit tougher. This is why I'm the man that I am today. When bad things happen, what do? You build from them. You learn from them. You grow from them. You have the passion and understanding that you have work to do. It sucked. It hurt. I had those moments when I wanted to give up my life. I said enough. I don't want to live like this anymore. But how do you get out of this hell, man? How do you rise up out of this hell, man? How can I save myself? That's how I had to say it to myself. Get out of this. You don't need to be here anymore. Something else has to happen. You know you could do better. There's a lot of people in the world that just want to feel sorry for the rest of their lives. Sorry does not control you. Sorry will never control me. I am the master of my life. I am not going to die being miserable. I am not going to give up because I know that there's purpose within me. I must continue to push with every ounce of strength that I have. I don't want to survive, I'm going to live. Yeah. I knew who I was. You know you can be better. There's no time for pity. Don't look for someone to dig you out. You at the bottom, get out of the bottom. You down at the end of your rope, climb up the rope. How can I take care of myself? How can I survive? What am I going to do? Am I going to run for help? Or am I going to run through this hell? Maybe that's what it needed to be. Maybe that was the kind of hell I had to go through. And I went through it for a reason. Because I lost, I won, but I refused to give up.
Come on now. Listen, good morning. Good morning. I got a lot to get off my chest today about why we stay broke. I got a lot to get off my chest today about why we stay broke. But before we get into all the meat and potatoes and all the good stuff, I have to say good morning, good afternoon, because it might be afternoon for some of you guys. But it's morning for me over here at 8 a.m. And it's so good. It's so good to be back on the podcast. It's been about a year. It's been about a year since the last season of the podcast. And the last season of the podcast was really cool. It was really fun. I got the chance to learn a lot, develop a lot as well. I never imagined that I would be doing a podcast, that I would be the host of a podcast about life, business development, the tips about improving your journey to wherever it is that you want to go, whatever it is about success. I never imagined that, but years ago, I actually had a podcast about mental health and that sort of development. And that was the coolest thing in the world. But that podcast was not live. So we actually get to have a live podcast where we get to interact with each other, ask and answer questions live as well, share our own feedback, our own insights and journeys in life. And at this point now, I've got tons of people that I've coached, that I've helped build their businesses, that I've helped also structure and create their lives in the way that they want it to be. And it has been an amazing journey for me overall. So I am extremely excited to be able to have season 2 of the Success Blueprint podcast. Now, over the last 7-8 months since the last season of the podcast, I have actually created a blog for the very first time. So if you have not seen my blog, it is something you should definitely check out. It's been amazing. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, I got a few things that I want to get into and talk about. But if you head to our website, which is reforgedhq.com, then you will see our website here. Now you can go through starting your own blueprint just to identify like how you can actually create your own success blueprint from scratch, but also explore the ecosystem, and you will scroll down and find our blog here. You can also just go to reforgedhq.com/the-success-blueprint-blog. And we actually just finished a 4-part series. This was an amazing series that we're actually going to talk about here on the podcast as well. So if you are watching this If you're watching this live, if you're watching this later on as a recording, definitely go back here and check this out, because our blog is actually where you get the chance to see the full insights and thoughts as best as possible in the way that I write as well. But this blog has been an amazing way for me to just share a lot of my journey and insights, a lot of things that I teach and learn throughout my journey as well, about just overall growth and the forge within that we are going to ultimately have to deal with. So it is definitely something that you guys need to check out. And also, before we get even into the more meat and potatoes, we've got an amazing sponsorship today, which I am very excited to share with you guys as well, which is DSBs. Now, I know, listen, I know it's kind of crazy. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bees, Charming? Well, listen, all I have to say is DSBs. I've been using DSBs for about the last 8 months, and they have been amazing. They are a skincare company. And with the skincare company, they actually utilize bees to create their products. They have a ton of products, and they actually feel great. You would imagine as well that when it comes to utilizing beeswax, that it might feel silky and oily, but it actually feels really good on your skin. Like the only thing I wish that they had was a little bit of like balding hair care to stop the balding, because the balding is definitely coming in from all the stress of having to teach people about stop being broke. But I'm excited about DSBs and our sponsorship with DSBs. They've got a ton of products that they actually enjoy, that they actually make. The ones that I specifically love using, obviously, is the tattoo care. I've got a lot of tattoos, and their tattoo care, not only do they have products just to help serve you and whenever you get new tattoos, but also they've got a lot of like preservation care as well. Obviously, they've got great skin care, men care as well, and I think that's awesome. They have a ton of men care products for us, which the crazy thing is there's not as much really fully developed, good, handcrafted, family-owned businesses that truly make great care products for men. So that is something that is also that's awesome, which I have been enjoying using as well. If you guys would like to do anything with them, just make sure to use my code Charming15 at checkout, so that way you can get a discount, 15% discount. It's pretty cool. 15% discount, Charming15, all caps, Charming15 at discount, to make sure that you can get a 15% discount on your lock oil. Come on. Beautiful. Peppermint. It smells so good. I would give you guys a live a live demonstration, but that's kind of weird. So I am excited about that sponsorship with DSBs. Again, that's dsbs.com. You can spell it with an S or a Z and DS, whichever one is fine. But regardless, dsbs.com, use code Charming at checkout. And also let me know what you end up using and what is your favorite product. They've got hundreds of products, hundreds. And it has been absolutely amazing working with them, having this sponsorship. I've had a sponsorship with them for about 6 months now. A couple months after we actually got connected for a sponsorship. So I enjoy using dsbs.com. I am a connoisseur of home products, or homemade, handcrafted, family-owned businesses, and they are one that I definitely want to support. If with that, you guys want to support, or you guys have your own products or businesses that you would love as well sponsored here on the channel, definitely let me know. You can reach me on LinkedIn and or on Instagram, and just send me a DM, and me and my marketing manager will get to working with you together. So I am looking forward to that. But with that being said, broke. There's so many things that keep us broke. And today I specifically want to talk about our own thoughts and the things that we do and say. And like, I'm not talking about just like broke mindset, like I'm not talking about like just broke mindset, because there are a lot of broke mindsets, but I specifically want to talk about the things that we actually do and tell ourselves that keep us there, no matter how much money you make. no matter how much. I mean, you can start making $10,000 a month. If you're at 5,000 and 10,000 is double your income, and you're just like, yeah, this is awesome. You can get to making $20,000 a month. I have clients that make $20,000 a month, and they are still living less than paycheck to paycheck, no extra income at all. None. I've got clients that I was sitting down with a family and they make a combined $440,000 a year. $440,000 a year. Living paycheck to paycheck. They've got no money growing for them. They've got no retirement plans, nothing invested, nothing. They had absolutely nothing. And I asked, why are you broke? Well, I mean, it's hard. That's what they said. They said it's hard. I promise of everyone who has ever struggled before, I promise you, most of them did not make $440,000 a year. And then on top of that, their same exact excuse is that it's hard. If you make $20,000 a year and you got a family and you're trying to support, which is, oh God, I feel so bad. Oh, I feel so bad. Anything we could do to help you. But you make $20,000 a year, your excuse for staying broke is that it's hard. Someone at $440,000 a year, their excuse is also it's hard. And it goes to show you that it's not about how much money you make. It's just about the right things that you're doing and telling yourself that's going to allow you to be able to actually keep more money and actually build some sort of wealth. But so many people miss that. So we're going to get into these 5 moves, these 5 thoughts, and these 5 things that we do and that we tell ourselves that is the reason why we ultimately stay broke, no matter how much money that we make. So I hope you got your coffee with you, because I got a lot to get off my chest today about this broke mindset. I got a lot. So we're gonna get into it. So first off, here's the thing. There's this idea, this mindset of, and if you guys also got any feedback or insights or thoughts, questions, you can definitely grab them and put them in the chat, because we're definitely interactive here, right? But there's this mindset that people have of, I work hard. That should be enough for me. I work hard. That should be enough. I go to work. I work all day. I slave away from my family. That should be enough for me. I don't really need all the extra stuff. I don't really need all the extra money. I just work hard, and hopefully someone will see and recognize my efforts. Let me give you an example. So a few years ago, actually prior to me starting a business and, starting a blog and a podcast and such, I worked as a district manager for a company. I basically ran everything, which is fine. I had no issue with that. There's a lot of us high performers that we do a lot of things above what we should, outside of our pay grade. Like a lot of us high performers, I do that. And it's just because we take pride in our work. We do. We take great pride in our work and putting our name on something. That's awesome. And saying, yeah, I've got this. And I did a ton of things outside of my pay grade. I mean, I ran 50 plus stores, multiple locations across the Southeast, managing all of these managers, these assistant managers, general managers, so on and so forth. But the issue with that is that no one else appreciates the work that you do, like you try and lie to yourself that you do. So nobody else is going to pay you what you feel like you should make. And then also, you're not asking for the raises, for the bonuses that you honestly deserve, that your work ethic shows that you deserve. But I work hard. That should be enough for someone to pay me more. It's crazy, because there's 2 things that you sacrifice when you accept this idea that you work hard, that should be enough. one, you're probably not going to make the money that your work ethic deserves for you to make, because you're not going to be asking for it. That should be enough. I work hard. But then two, so that's the wealth loss, right? But then two, you working hard and also not getting the approval and the raises that you should also restricts you from having the life with your family, with your friends, with whomever that you want to be able to have, because I work hard. That should be enough. My family, my friends, the people I care about will accept that I'm a hard worker and that I'm trying to make more money for them. But so you've got two major sacrifices, both of which are only going to do nothing but keep you broke. You and your family. So while we're accepting this idea that we work hard, that was me. That was me. I mean, I was contracted to work 70 hours a week for $32,000 a year. That was probably even in the Marine Corps, I worked more hours and made more money. I worked more hours, but I made a lot more money. I was only contracted to work those 70 hours a week. I was working open to close every day, driving to and from different locations across different states. I ended up working about 78 to 80 hours a week on average. And now I don't have any children, so I could not imagine someone who has a family working as often as I was. Because guess what? There were 3 other people close to my position that were doing the same exact thing. They were the state managers. Close to my position that were doing the same exact thing. I felt so bad for them because I'm like, I don't have a family. I just got 2 dogs at home, which I ended up hiring an in-house pet sitter to just take care of my dogs because I was always gone. And I know that they didn't make as much money. That was horrible. Now, not everybody's in that exact situation, but I want to give the parallel, because while I was doing that, I wasn't asking for raises. I'm the kind of person that believes that you earn your promotions, you earn your raises. You're not given the promotion and a raise with the expectation that you're going to do more. I don't believe that. And I think there's a lot of us that, pause. I think there's many people who also believe that same concept as well. There's a lot of people who believe, give me a raise so I can do more. My employees, I don't do that. I think recently I gave one of my employees a raise, and he was like, "So what's my new roles? What are my new responsibilities? What are my new?" I'm like, "I don't pay you so that way you can do better. I pay you because you have done better. Your quality has risen." Now, that's some good bosses. That's some good employers. But I'm going to say, I don't think not many of them. Many of them won't even appreciate it. So this I work hard mentality, that should be enough, gets you absolutely nowhere. It gets you no more money. It gets you no more time with your family. And so it's going to keep you there and keep you broke. All this extra work for us high performers, we absolutely love it. But it keeps us broke. And I'm not saying to go and just do the bare minimum or be the bare minimum. You have to understand where your I work hard mentality is going to. I get so tired of hearing it from my clients all the time. They want to get raises, they want to make more, and they're just struggling or get so upset sometimes while we're in a meeting. They get so upset because they're like, there's no way. When we break down their actual, where their actual spending is and their actual money, and I've got so many clients that are making the 6 figures, and they're just like, there's no way that I'm struggling this much, and I didn't realize how bad I was struggling. And that I know there are other people out there who are making much less, and they have a bigger family, or they have more things and I'm like, well, it depends. It depends, because sometimes I get a client or a family and they This brings me to number 2. This is the second one. And they have a much better budget. They have much better budgeting skills. There's three moves of money management. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. There's 3 moves for money management that so many people do not understand. And I don't even know if they've really ever thought about it. I'm going to pull up this nice little, if I can find it. I'm going to find it for you guys. Oh man, it's been a, there we go. And there's three types of money management skills that you must have. And some of my clients who make less money than the other ones I've got clients who make $30,000. $30,000 a year. And they've got better money management skills than some of my clients who make $200,000 a year, who own businesses, who run people's lives. These 3 money management skills, money planning, organizing, and tracking, are so extremely important, because this brings me to the second move that keeps people broke, no matter how much money they make. People think that budgeting is for poor people. Well, if nobody thinks that they're poor, then nobody's budgeting. I think the statistics are 68% of households don't have a budget, which, shockingly enough, that means that there are 32% of families with a budget. But the ones with a budget, they barely even follow it. It's according to what I've seen. So if budgeting is for poor people, then if you started off poor, why would you stop budgeting as you made more money? I cannot tell you how much I see that. Because I'll give an example. There's this gentleman. He is 28 years old now, which is he's actually doing a lot better than he was in life before. He makes about $180,000 a year. He travels a lot for work. He's in tech and does something with some travel company to go and like do tech stuff across the country. Really cool dude. He doesn't have a family. It's just him. And he's in a great situation. Whenever I sat down and looked, I'm like, man, you have minimal expenses. You've got, all these different things. And he didn't have the income that he has now. His family has never had the amount of income that he's having right now. So he's in a very, very unique place. I am also in a very unique place. I've never made as much money as I do right now ever in my entire life. And back whenever, he was growing up, his family, they had a budget. And so whenever he turned 18 and he stepped off and started he went to college, he didn't make much money. It took him a while before he found the job that he has now. He's been at the job he has now for about 2 years. But before that, he was just hopping from job to job, doing waiter stuff, waiting and bartending. So he didn't make much money. But he was excellent at money organizing. He kept track of every set of tips that came in. He kept track of the income as well. He also at that point in time was doing DoorDash. So he kept very great track of organizing all of this money and all this income and properly understanding where they should all go. He did have a bunch of debt as well. And so he understood exactly, he was perfect at money organizing years ago. And so when we sat down and met for the very first time, he said, "Oh, I've got a budget I can send to you." I was like, "That's incredible. That's awesome." He sent me the budget. The budget was so outdated that the expenses that he had on there, he was still paying to, though he didn't even need to anymore. He was still paying on one of his debt accounts that had already closed. He was still sending the money. I was like, I'm looking at it, and I remember I was looking at his document that he sent me, and I'm like, oh, this is clean, but this doesn't reflect what he's told me in our very first discovery meeting. So, I ended up giving a phone call, and I'm like, hey, what is this expense? What is this? What is this? Why do you have this? And we continued to dive deeper, and we ended up getting into a meeting. We made some phone calls to some of his debt collectors and and we canceled some expenses and such. Comes to find out, for a year and a half, he had been paying about $300 per month to one of his lenders that the account had already closed. And it's because when he started making more money, his mindset about, well, I don't need to budget anymore, I've got enough money. That's for poor people, or that's people who don't have much money. They need to budget their pennies. And that $300 a month is now gone. That's calculator times. That's $5,400. That's $5,400 that went to waste. I remember talking to him about this, and I said, you could have put this in your Roth IRA and almost maxed out your Roth IRA for the year. He could have. And also, this was before the market crashed. The market started going down last year, right? So it could have done him really great justice. But that leak of income, of just money going somewhere else, not keeping track of it, not properly money planning, not properly tracking your own habits that you have, that you make. I mean, he was just still spending that money. But he stopped once he made more money. And I cannot tell you how many people I meet consistently who are in that position. That family that was making $440,000 a year that I was helping them with their taxes, they did neither. They didn't budget at all. And budgeting isn't going to solve all your problems. Don't get me wrong. But it is one of the 5 things that I see most that keeps people broke. That I get tired, that I get so tired of. I have to undo this idea when I'm sitting down with people that, yo, you need a budget. Some people honestly don't feel like they need one. You can make a great ton of money, because here's the thing. When you have enough money in your accounts, you never have to worry about not having the right money or not having the money in your account. That's been something that's been so very nice. Minnie, my dog, I had to take her to the emergency room last week. I appreciate the doctors, the nurses looking out for like my pockets and whatnot. I do, because like they say, hey, listen, well, here's the low estimate, and then here's a high estimate. Now the low estimate, we can be able to get this, and she can leave with this, and this. But the higher estimate, we can be able to send off this test. We can be able to do this blood work. We can be able to do all of these everythings. And she's just like, I just want to make sure that, this is affordable for you. And like, I'm like, listen, do everything you got to do. Please. This is my baby. This is my dog. Just do it. I don't care. And I'll just pay for it. Just do it. I'll just pay for it. I don't just do whatever you have to do. That is the most secure feeling, to be able to do that. And I get it. When we get to that point, we don't have to check the bank account. So we also don't have to check our money planning. So we stop tracking our financial habits. But again, that guy, $5,400 a year, or excuse me, $5,400 just went to waste. We tried to get it back and things like that, but $5,400 went to waste. And that's just him. And that's just for debt, let alone all the extra little pieces, little money that he was spending here and there that he didn't realize. That stuff keeps you broke. You cannot have your money just leaking. It's just like inflation. Oh, it's just like inflation. So many people don't understand that inflation will be the number one reason why your entire financial plan suffers. Inflation will be. Which kind of brings me to my next point. Inflation. One sec. Geez, allergies. The allergies out here are so bad in Tennessee. Brings me to my next point. So, whenever I sit down and I'm doing financial plans for families and clients, I unfortunately see that if inflation were to go up by 2%, just by 2%, most people's financial plans would go into ruin and have 68% chance of failure, continuing down to 72, continuing down as close to 100% failure, sometimes even 100% failure, depending on somebody's situation before we start working together. I do a stress test on their current financial strategies. And it's so sad to understand just how deep inflation goes. Here's the way you kind of got to think about it. If you were to make your income and before you did anything, you thought about taxes as a filter, right? You make all this money. Actually, I'm going to draw it for us. I'm going to draw this. Oh man, I love drawing though. If you've been here for a while, you know I love drawing. All right. If we think about our income through a filter like this. So this is all of the income that you make. All the cash moolah that you make. I did a really good job drawing that side by side. All the money that you make. And this filter is a filter of taxes. Right? Pretty simple. Pretty easy to understand. This is a taxes filter. So let's say your $100,000 a year goes in, let's say about $80,000 comes out on the other side. Taxes. So this is what you pay per year, right? This can just be your annual taxes per year, whatever. Pretty simple to understand that this is what happens. You get the same exact style of filter when it comes to inflation that so many people don't see either. They don't think about either. You make your $100,000 a year, but let's just say instead, maybe this isn't income. Actually, no, we'll keep it as income. Yeah, we'll keep it as income. You got $100,000 that you make, and let's just say that you put $100,000 into your savings account, and you got this $100,000 into your savings account, and let's just do this over 20 years. On the other side, it goes through the filter. The other side, this is worth $20,000 a year, or $20,000. Your savings account is. This is how I see inflation. Inflation is just as much of a filter as taxes is. Right? Now, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. Why? Because we make so much money and so much of our money goes through the inflation filter. What goes through the inflation filter? Well, number one, anything that you put in your bank, anything you put in your bank account goes through the inflation filter. Why? Because it's sitting somewhere where it is at risk of exposure of inflation. The second that you make that money and it goes into nothing else but a bank account, inflation. Inflation filter. The second one, savings accounts. Savings accounts with low interest or no interest. Inflation filter. It stays up under your bed. You keep it as cash. Inflation filter. 4, you spend it on anything. Anything. You spend it on anything. You take it, you go to the groceries, gas, you spend it on anything. Inflation filter. So money that goes in a bank, savings, keep it as cash, or you spend it, goes through the inflation filter. It all deals with inflation. All of it. So when we have this idea that I'll invest more when I make more, it only keeps you poor, because the only way to get rid of the inflation filter is to have your money not go towards inflation, or not sit somewhere where there is inflation present, which is investments. And so if we think about it this way, I'm gonna draw another filter for us. If we think about it this way, this filter here you make your income, right? Say you make your $100,000 a year, right? And what goes in, let's say this is your investment filter, whatever you decide to invest in, whatever you choose to invest in. Well, let's say you make your $100,000 a year and you decide to invest that directly. Again, obviously you're not going to invest all $100,000, but just for clarity's sake, just for brevity, you have coming in $100,000 into your investment filter, and you end up with, I don't know, $400,000. This 100,000 avoided the inflation filter. You lost $80,000. You lost $80,000 due to the inflation filter. But if you chose to invest it somewhere properly, and you have the proper plans and the proper strategies and all the kind of stuff, right? You made $300,000. But people choose to say, I'll invest more when I make more money, instead of budgeting and having a good plan to start putting at least some of the money, keeping some of the money that's in their inflation-based accounts and putting it into an investment-based account. Obviously, you need the proper budgeting for that. You need the proper planning and strategies for that. But the last thing you want to do is have your money towards inflation. If inflation would rise by 2%, as I said before, most financial plans would fail. So many people don't even know that or even understand this. And so because of this, the only way to avoid inflation is to invest. Now, you can invest it into high yield savings accounts, right? You can invest it into CDs with banks. You can invest it into the market-based accounts. You can invest it into insurance-based accounts. You can invest it into businesses, right? Your time, energy, effort, and money. You can invest into businesses as well. But the last thing you should be saying to yourself is, I'll invest more when I make more, because all that's doing is ruining your financial plan. There's so many people who never even understand that a financial plan can be stressed like this and put through different filters to be able to see and understand. And I'll be honest with you, if inflation were to go up by 3%, which would be doubling inflation, if it were to go up by 3%, the likelihood that every financial plan that is so exposed to inflation would fail goes to 100%. Almost all of them that are exposure to inflation. I feel like inflation is worse than the market. Inflation worse than the market. When I do a stress test on most of my clients, financial plans before we work together, I'll stress, if the market were to go down by 20%, or to have a bad year of 20%, their financial plans would drop. Like the success rate would drop down from potentially 70, 80% down to about 50, 40%. But inflation goes up by 2%, it drops down to 30% success rate, 20% success rate. So I'd rather even have my money in the market than in inflation. But the only way to get out of inflation is to invest. Invest it somewhere. That's the only way. That's the only place your money can grow. The bank, market, insurance, business. That's it. And if it's not there, it's taking huge losses directly to inflation. I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that concept, that mindset. And you have to get out of that. People, we have to. We got two más, dos más. I hope this is good. I'm hoping I'm preaching to somebody, because I this right here is going to be sent to my clients, every client. I'm just going to send them a clip. Like, hey, listen, this invest more. Let me show you why you have to invest. Why you got to get out of this? I'll invest when I make more concept mindset. When as you make it, you're not going to make more. Making more isn't just about the income that's coming in. It's about what you're keeping. All right, let's get into number 4. Number 4, debt means failure. Debt means failure. I think some of the coolest strategies deals with debt. Some of the coolest financial strategies to grow your wealth deals with debt. Now, obviously, there are horrible debts out there that you definitely don't want to have. Obviously. But there are amazing ways to utilize debt. I have been, let's go ahead and walk down the lane. I don't think this is going to be an educational piece instead of more of a mindset one. Obviously, you've got your debt, right? You got medical debt. You've got your collections even sometimes. And then you got your regular credit cards and loans and your mortgage, auto loans, things like that. And that's fine. That's A-okay. That's cool. But to talk about this in 2 different concepts. Obviously, I want to talk about the bad debt first. I'm going to talk about really cool stuff. When it comes to bad debt, debt means failure. It makes us feel absolutely horrible about ourselves. I think money is a mind game. And when we have so much debt, it drowns us mentally. And I think a lot of people feel that. There's this heavy weight of debt on us that a lot of people feel when they have so much debt. People who've never had debt before, they fall victim to some circumstances. One of my clients, he's a business owner. He makes about $240,000 a year. And he got into a really bad situation where he was unfortunately unable to work his business and run his business for about 15 months. During that time, he got into, I think, over $300,000 of debt. He had to take out so many different loans and credit cards and things. And that debt hurt him mentally, emotionally. And it made him feel like he'll never climb out of the hole. When you feel like you'll never climb out of the hole, you don't do the steps that it takes to get out of the hole, because you feel like you'll never climb out of it. So he feels like he's completely failed. So he does. So you don't even start somewhere. Now, it took a while for me to even start working with him because of just the fact that, well, there's no point to work with a financial professional because I'll never get out of this hole. That's so very real. I used to have so much debt, $220,000 of debt. It took me years to even start chunking away at it. Years. And when that happens, we don't take many steps. We don't take steps to pay it. Sometimes we don't take steps to make more money to pay it. So it also keeps us broke. Jeez. You know, I used to be able to take the dogs out in the morning time and not have to deal with all of the pollen going into my eyeballs and my nose. I miss those days. So as I was saying, the debt, it bogs you down. It drowns you mentally and emotionally, financially, obviously. It makes you feel like you'll never get out of the situation. And that does suck. Now, with that, I do have a nice sponsorship from one of my favorite partners that I am an affiliate of, Weightless Financial. Weightless Financial is a debt attorney firm, and what they focus on financial education and debt management strategies, utilizing their attorneys to help you with that as well. Not only do they also help out with debt consolidation, debt settlement, and such, but they also help out with just overall educating you based on your debt and your own budgeting as well. The really cool thing about Weightless Financial is that they are going to help you and your family, your clients, to be able to get out of debt, pay the least amount of interest as well, while also being backed by attorneys in case anything were to happen. Now, they're not just one of those kind of companies that will tell you stop paying on your debt so that way it can go to collections. So that way, they're not that. They're actually going to work with you, with your lenders, through those attorneys, and help you make sure that you're paying the least amount and negotiate on your behalf as well. Weightless Financial has been amazing as well for me, for my clients, for my family and friends. And with that being said, if you are interested in connecting with Weightless Financial, you can either just reach out to me personally. I'll be able to schedule a call with them, or I will put I thought the link was in the description below, but it's not in the description below. So I am going to have to find it and put it in the chat for us. But if you would like to check out Weightless Financial for you or anybody that you know, there is this scheduling link that you can go ahead and schedule some time with them. Just make sure to put in my name, so that way they will be able to help you out specifically on my account, and with me making sure, obviously, one, to make sure that you also get the service of my clients. Two, so that way they do the free consultation with you as well. And then also three, they will treat you as they treat all the rest of my clients as well. So just make sure to put my name and my company, WFG, Royal Family Finance, Success Blueprint, Reforge HQ. You can put whatever you want to be able to put in for that. But make sure to put in my information. Schedule some time for yourself. Just give them a quick call, or have a quick call with them, and they'll be able to help educate you and teach you all of the things that you need to know about debt. But now, after understanding how bad debt just holds you down and why you never even start, there's a good side of debt. There's a really cool side. There are such cool ways to utilize debt loans in order to build your own wealth. Using someone else's money is called capital maximization. Someone else's, or money itself, capital. It's capital. Utilizing somebody else's money, you're maximizing on somebody else's capital. As an example, let's just say that you want to, there's what's called advanced premium funds. This is kind of an advanced concept, but it's where you can borrow money from the bank, put it into your own IUL, let your IUL grow for 5-7 years. When your money grows in that account so much, you just take that money, pay off the bank, but now you've got all of that money grown for you. Pretty cool, right? Let's just say you're able to borrow $1 million from the bank, drop to an IUL, it grows to $3 million over the next 5 years, 7 years. I don't know, $3 million over the next 5-7 years. Some of us know when you have an IUL, you're able to take what's called participating loans and borrow that money back out. You borrow that money, pay off the bank. And now you've got $3 million going for you in your account that you started directly from them. That's really cool. That's a very normal strategy that I do with individuals who have that sort of net worth. Obviously, you have to be approved for that kind of stuff, right? You have to have the net worth. You have to have the assets and things like that. But you now have this $1 million loan. But let's bring that all the way down to something minimal. Let's bring it all the way down to something minimal. What if you, and I've seen this many times in a worse way. I've seen someone take out a $50,000 loan. I had a client 3 months ago. They got a $50,000 loan for a crypto scam, essentially. It was a crypto scam because he lost all his money. Not that he lost all his money. It wasn't even going to crypto. It was going to some educational piece or whatever. He didn't get what he got out of it. That's what I define scams as. You don't get what you're promised. So he did $50,000 to start some crypto, which could have made him a lot of money. And he could have paid it off, paid it back. He made his little payments, and that was that. Business. There's corporate credit, business credit. You can actually utilize and borrow and open up lines of credit as such to help you pay down all the rest of your interest while also paying off your interest. You can open up a credit card that has 0% interest rate for the first 18 months. Put all of your debt, pay all your debt off with that line of credit, and every month, pay off your line of credit that you put all of your house, your mortgage, or your house, your car, the rest of your debt at no interest while you're paying all that stuff off, reducing your interest as well. This might sound like a lot of like advanced stuff, and that it is until you sit down and we look directly at yours. Wayless Financial will also help you understand that concept as well. If you also want to work with Wayless financial GPS software. But also, that's what we sit down with people and do all the time. So many people think that debt is failure when you could be using debt as a strategy to help you build wealth. People don't even know that, unfortunately. Or at least to help you reduce interest. Remember, as little money going through the inflation as possible. Interest is definitely inflation, is inflation risky. All right. And now the last one, the last move, the last thought process today that I see that keeps people broke. And I'm excited. I'm excited for it because, like I said, I had a lot to get off my chest today. I probably have a lot to get off my chest on Wednesday too. This last piece is that it'll work out eventually. Man, it'll work out eventually. We'll be in a better place eventually. Well, everything will just work out. God's got it. And as much as I want to agree, I cannot. You have to do something. If you want something, you have to do it. You have to make it happen. If you want anything to change, it will not just work out eventually. That's like saying, well, I really don't feel like going to the gym today, but I'll work out eventually. Do you believe that? If you believe that, then that's what also keeps you broke. I'll work out eventually. That's what keeps you out of shape. I'll work out eventually. It will not work out eventually. You actually have to do something. You actually have to take steps. Let me give you an example. So a lot of you guys know that I've struggled with mental health issues before. A lot of them. I was in a hospital for about 13 months. Spent a lot of time in group therapy. I spent a lot of time doing those things. And they give you all of these tools, all these resources. They give you all these coping strategies. They give you all these different mechanics. They even give you meds as well. And for a while, before going to the hospital, and even while I was in the hospital, while I was in group therapy, I wasn't taking all the steps. I wasn't even taking some of them. Not even a small amount of them. I wasn't doing them. I wasn't doing it. And I kept telling myself all the time, my mental health will get better eventually. It'll figure itself out. It figured itself out until this bad situation. Figured itself out. Well, yeah, it figured itself out until this bad situation because my mind was not properly organized. It was not properly structured. It was focused on the wrong things, and it was doing all types of other things. And also was just at risk to the stresses of life. And so I consistently told myself, well, I'll just get better. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. It will get better. But the thing is, when you're in such a bad place mentally, you're in a very deep, dark hole. You're in a very deep, dark cave. And people can throw into the cave all the tools that you need to climb up this cave, literally they'll throw you down ropes. So they can give you everything. But you are the only one. You are the only one who can do anything about it. You have to take the steps. I'm in group therapy. They say, hey, talk to a loved one and talk to them about what it looks like when you need support. You need a support person. Tell them your triggers, so that way when they see your triggers, they can take the steps to help you. I didn't want to do that. What did that do for me? It only put me in a hospital. It won't work out. You have to do the steps. You can be given everything, but you have to do it yourself. You have to take the steps. Nobody else can do it for you. And so expecting that it'll work out eventually does nothing but harm you. It slows you down. And that applies to everything, not just money, not just wealth. It applies to everything. But specifically today, I have to tell you, it applies directly to your money. You're not going to just automatically start budgeting better. You're not going to automatically start making more money at work. Your business is not going to automatically become more profitable. You are not going to automatically start closing better deals. None of that is going to happen, and you're delusional if you feel like it is. It'll work out eventually is one of the worst things that I've heard anyone say. Clients, business partners, people I meet on the street, family members, anything. It'll work out eventually is one of the worst things. It's almost as bad as almost. I almost did it. Almost as bad as almost. And so before we end today, I want you to think about these 5. I work hard. That should be enough. It's not. You need to say something. You need to do something. You need to stop being an overachiever and a top performer where you don't need to be. Because all it's doing is keeping you broke and keeping you away from your family. Budgeting is for the poor. That's not going to... Oh, man. It might be real easy because you don't have to worry about having the money in the account. But when you don't have to worry about having the money in the account, you're not tracking that you're just losing money. Inflation eats away at your money and at your wealth more than anything else does. And if you do not make a conscious effort to invest now, you will be bleeding wealth, bleeding it. You will always stay broke. There are such cool debt strategies out there. And if you ignore them, you won't ever capitalize on someone else's money to help you build more for yourself. Don't worry about the bad debt that you have. Take the steps to get out of it. You can start from somewhere. There's always a way. And lastly, because there's always a way, you have to be the one to start that way. It will never just work out by itself. It never will. If you continue to tell yourself that it'll just happen, it'll get better, you're lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Do something, and you have to take some level of action. Talk to someone. Ask somebody. Just go anywhere. Do something. Because anything is better than nothing. And I'm tired of seeing people who double their income, triple their income, still feel just as broke, if not worse, than before. So with that, you guys have a beautiful day. I will see you guys on Wednesday morning. If you enjoyed this, let me know with a like and subscribe. Come on over to the YouTube channel as well. I will show this again. Come on over to the YouTube channel, reforgehq.com or at reforgehq. Also, you can check out your own success blueprint at reforgedhq.com. Check out DSBs. Use code Charming at checkout, and also check out What is Financial as well. And make sure to put in my name, Charming, and my company, Royal Family Finance, Reforged HQ, WFG, whatever you want to put in. So with that, have a beautiful day. Take great care, And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Make sure that you stay beautiful. It's the biggest point. Someone loves you. I love you. Take care.